Go to the Menhir Hills to give Clark the Elixer.
Hi everybody, and welcome back to Rayman Revolution. And as we just heard from that teensy, that is our objective in this episode. We need to head back to the Menhir Hills and deliver the Elixir of Life, which we grabbed in the last episode, to Clark. Now, in the last episode we went through the Cave of Bad Dreams and fought Jano, or raced Jano to the end. In this episode, we need to head back to the Menhir Hills, but first of all I'm going to head to the Magic Well, because I'm sure we've now got enough lums to actually buy a new upgrade. So I figured I might as well do it now. Yes, I've got plenty of lums, so what I want to do is buy the rate of fire upgrade. Rebound is also quite helpful, but that's fine. I'll save rebound one for later. Rate of fire, quite useful, honestly. And there's only one rate of fire. You might notice it with the other ones, accumulation and rebound, but there are two versions of each of them. We haven't even bought rebound 1 yet, but there is a rebound 2 after that. So now we have increased our rate of fire, so now we can throw with both hands, whereas before I'm sure we were just using one. But yeah, that should come in handy. Anyway, we need to head to the Menhir Hills rather than head over to the entrance. There is a spiral door to it, so I'm going to use this if I can get in there. Teensy, why are you standing in the way? You're just an obstruction to me. Now, I've already been through the first half of the Menhir Hills already in a previous episode, in episode 5, and we made it to Clark, but that's the point where we get kicked out of the level. We can only play through half the level in our first visit. I don't think there's anything additional I want to add. What I talked about in the last Menhir Hills was mostly the soundtrack. I suppose I could point out something about the soundtrack again, because I've got nothing else to say about this level otherwise. It's the build-up of the Riding the Shell music. It changes whenever you find a shell in a new area, and it's all part of the same track in the soundtrack. Most of the soundtrack in this game is split into different sections, so you might notice it through a level as the music changes dynamically throughout the level. But it's all part of the same track. It just changes. It's sampling, I think it's called, made of samples. So yeah, it just picks a bit of the track to use at a certain time. Riding the Shell especially is split into 3 sections. We've only heard two parts of the soundtrack, but yeah, the first bit is in this opening area. It's just din 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 din, and then it builds up a little bit in the second section, and then the third section is like the climax of it all. So yeah, we'll get to hear that after clearing the section with Clark. But we need to get there first, so let's proceed through the level as norm. Aside from the Riding the Shell music, it's very eerily quiet in the Menhir Hills. It's one of the few levels like it. Whoa, I need to like redirect myself over here. Okay, let's see if I still got the control over this shell. Let's use the accelerate option, because I'm sure I wasn't doing that too often the last time I played through the level. I almost forgot that I had the ability to accelerate. That is a loud car. I love living next to a main road and trying to record. Whoa, that was close. Okay, one of them pokes out the wall there though. Yeah, that's a bit of a dick move. Okay, made it to the end again. And once again, there are a couple of things that we can't grab yet. Oh! Took damage from that apparently. It propelled me into the explosion. And you can die right away. Okay, let's try using our new rebound to hit that switch without turning the corner. If I can. Oh. I didn't buy rebound, did I? I bought rate of fire. I'm an idiot, apparently. But yeah, we now have the elixir. Let's go see Clark again. I'm a flaming idiot.
Here, Clark. Here's the elixir. Thanks, little buddy. Wow! Now I can go crush a whole bunch more pirates! Cool, but put me down first, okay?
Okay, now Clark blows the way onwards. That's what he did in the hub world as well, to allow us access to Glowbox House. Before we move on, I just want to acknowledge the fact that there's a huge pirate in the corner. This isn't or maybe it's like, yeah, I'm sure it's meant to be like one big pirate, but maybe it's a scrap heap of regular pirate parts, I'm not sure. But yes, a bit strange that there's a huge stack of pirates there. There's no like big pirate enemy in the game that we can face. Before moving on with Clark, I want to head out to this little randomly open area Not really sure why this is here. There's nothing else here aside from 3 yellow lums and a few red lums. And I can't go under there, unfortunately. Looks like you should be able to, but you just can't. Can't swim in that water. So yeah, that's the only thing out here in this random clearing. I don't know why it's here. Maybe in one of the original versions, instead of the Clark cutscene booting you out of the level, you'd have to exit the level manually, and that's where the exit would be, in that area. But in this version, it's just an empty clearing with 3 yellow lums. Okay, so here's a bit of teamwork with Clark. Clark can bust through wooden walls, but he can't bust through these metal grates. So we need to head up and find a switch to open the grates, and there's another purple lum up there somewhere. But I didn't have the camera focused on it for some reason. Oh, the camera sort of backs up against the wall here. The camera is certainly not flawless at all. It's pretty terrible, actually. I'm sure I mentioned that in the first few episodes. Yes, there is one more purple lum up top. I can't aim towards it. The camera is not letting me see the purple lums. Okay. This time let's just take things slow. Let's adjust the camera properly. Let's head over here. Head on up here. Hit this next one. Then turn around. Yeah, there's a cage up here and another yellow lum. So you need to head up to the top of the room. And Rayman yelling woohoo every time he grabs the purple lum is kind of annoying. Yep, there's another familiar spirit. And another yellow lum. And we head through this little gap. And down on the other side is the switch to open up the metal grating, which allows Clark to get through. It's just a case of switching sides here. We have to help Clark so Clark can help us, and now we have to wait for him to just waddle his way over to this wall. And bust through it. If you stand in his way, he just passes straight through you. Don't worry about it. He won't do damage to you at all. And unfortunately, this is the last of the Clark section. I feel like that's a bit of a missed opportunity. It's kind of... maybe they could have done a bit more teamwork with Clark, I'm not sure. But yeah, it just feels a bit short that he busts through a wall, you let him through, and then he busts through another wall. And he's been known to, like, start destroying pirates. Like, he's a big guy, he's very good at dealing with pirates, but there's no pirates in that section at all. Considering it's the elite military academy, or whatever it was, yeah, it's a bit strange that there's no pirates around there. And Clark can't help you destroy them for some reason. There's just none around. That was a weird flick on that ring there. Okay, there's one cage up there, and here is the shell of the area and the final shell of the level. But if you head to the area behind the shell, there's a set of vines, and a few more yellow lums, and a cage. So there's 2 familiar spirits in this one area. Okay, now need to drop down and avoid the shell again, and the way onwards is up this slope here. Now this is where riding the shell gets a little bit difficult, and also the music builds up completely here. And yeah, these rock menhirs pointing out of the ground, really kind of annoying to deal with, and this next bit is a bit of a dick move because you need to accelerate, and I missed a yellow lum. What the hell happened there? I just did like a right angle turn somehow by bashing into one of the rocks. But yes, I do find this section to be a little bit tricky. The rocks are quite unforgiving. They take a while to start protruding out of the ground, so they don't give you a lot of time to react. Yeah, it's a little bit unfair. So the first rock is on the left. I only said right. Yeah, and then you just plough straight to the side of it. And that does do damage to you, so I do need to be a bit careful here. Come on, shell. Tire out. Having to tie them out every time is a little bit annoying as well. It's quite tiring, you might say. That was a weird skid. Didn't feel like that animation worked at all. Okay, left and then immediately right. And then hold right. Oh, that was weird. So yeah, controlling the shell here is a bit janky. I will freely admit. And I need to accelerate through here to avoid that rock there. It happened again. I hit the side of the bridge, so it looked like I was about to start bearing right, so I held left to accommodate for that, but no, Rayman straightened out by himself, and I threw myself into the water. I know I shouldn't be like explaining my failings, but yeah, that's what happened there, if you're wondering. Okay, this might take a little bit longer than I imagined. Luckily the music's great though. I mentioned before this is my favourite track, but what the hell happened there? Yeah, the shell gravity is a bit weird. In case you weren't aware, shells can run on walls, so it's a little bit finicky if you brush up against a wall. You can only run on walls if there's like a slope leading up to it. God damn, bounced off the wall again. Oh, this is annoying. And there's a level later on that makes full use of that whole running on walls scenario, but yeah, it's just the shell physics trying to accommodate for that when it doesn't need to. Okay, let's go. I was convinced I was going to nail this section. Like, I was preparing for this episode, I'm like, okay, it gets difficult, but I'm going to do it first try. Nope. Okay, here's what happens if you don't accelerate through here. This rock drops down and... oh. Well, in my previous runs, that rock dropped down and immediately crushed me. Wow. That went off at a tangent there. But that's the end of the level right there, so I'm kind of glad. I wonder if I missed, like, a yellow lum or something. Okay, let's... You can run a little ways up this section. Oh, we're actually running on a wall right now. Because this gets too steep for Rayman to climb. But the shell can climb it no problem. God, stop bouncing off the walls. And then the camera just zooms in there for some reason, I don't know. Nope. Oh, somehow I avoided being crushed there. I'm not sure how. Very touchy controls. Okay, there we go. And that's all the lums we can grab for now, I'm sure. The remaining yellow lums are behind the red laser door in the first section, and also across the pit in the second section. But we need two different abilities there, so that's unfortunate. And we dive into the spiral door. Still missing a familiar spirit as well. I think that's the one in the second section. Okay, that's fine for now. We've cleared the Menhir Hills, and what does that do for us now that we've helped Clark? Well, Clark is pretty inconsequential, but he will help us. He will help us to the next area of the hub world in due time, after we grab the second mask. But aside from that, there's only one thing that we need to clear Menhir Hills for, and it's a little bit weird.
Rayman, the pirates have captured Glowbox. They're holding him near here. Find him using the missile which guards the entrance to the Menhir Hills.
Yeah, so upon completing the Menhir Hills, for some reason, that makes a walking shell appear just outside the entrance to the level. I'm not sure why that happened. Like, there's no reason behind it. But now, there's a shell just over here. And it's constantly asleep, so we can just jump on it. Don't need to tie this one out. And then we need to ride it across to the entrance to the canopy, which is along this very thin path. It automatically takes control of the shell for us here. But upon blowing up these rocks, this is the entrance to the canopy, which is where Glowbox is being held. So that's it for now. This is kind of a short episode. Revisiting the Menhir Hills didn't take as long as I thought, to be honest. But yeah, that's it. In the next episode, we'll be heading to the canopy to find Glowbox. So I will see you then. Bye for now.